Picture this. You walk into a Starbucks, you place your order, the barista smiles. A minute later, you're holding a warm cardboard cup. On it, a green mermaid. You take a sip. Coffee. Ordinary. You don't even think about the fact that this drink was almost banned once. Not because of caffeine, not because of the economy, but because it was Muslim. In the 16th century, the Catholic Church declared coffee the devil's drink. Black, bitter, wakes you up for no obvious reason, clearly from Satan. Priests demanded a ban. The Inquisition was ready. Europe stood on the edge of a coffee apocalypse, and then one man took a sip, rolled his eyes, and said, "I'll take it from here." It was the Pope. Today, Starbucks is on every corner in America, and not a single cardinal even mutters a prayer against cappuccino. How did that happen? This is Svetlana. Welcome to the Archive of Hidden Facts with a Smile. Today's segment, Hidden Facts in History, 10th–19th Century. Topic: How the Pope Saved Coffee from the Curse of Satan. Hold on tight. We're about to open the folder where the scandalous truth about your morning latte is hidden. Vienna, 1570. The Turks had besieged the city. Then they left, but they left behind sacks of strange beans. Europeans had no idea what to do with them. Someone tried boiling them. They drank it, and, oh miracle! They didn't sleep for 2 days. The church got worried. Why? Everyone knows, only sinners stay awake at night. That same year, Franciscan monks from Egypt sent a letter to the Vatican. Muslims drink coffee. They have mosques. We have churches. It's not for us. In 1585, Pope Sixtus V added coffee to the list of suspicious goods from infidel lands. Formally, not a ban, but a warning bell. Venetian merchants pursed their lips. They had been trading coffee for 15 years. If the church says no, they go broke. Meanwhile, in Rome, parishioners whispered, "It's a witch's brew. It makes your head buzz." No one knew yet that the buzzing was just caffeine. They thought it was demons. By 1590, coffee was almost forbidden. One step remained: a papal bull. But Clement VIII hesitated. He wasn't a holy fanatic, he was a politician. And he understood, if he bans coffee, the merchants will scream. If he allows it, the church loses face. He needed a compromise, and he found it in a cup. Legend has it, a cup of freshly brewed coffee was brought to Clement VIII. The priests around him froze in horror. The Pope raised the cup, sniffed it, winced. Then he took a sip. Silence. Another sip. He closed his eyes and said, "This drink is so delicious that it would be a sin to leave it only to the infidels. Let us baptize it." That very same day, he ordered coffee added to the list of Christian beverages and threatened excommunication to anyone who dared to ban it. Historians debate whether this actually happened. In the Vatican archives, which were only opened in 2010, there is no papal document with the word baptized. Just a dry note. Taste acceptable. No grounds for a ban. 50 samples collected. That's it. But the point isn't the paperwork. The point is, coffee was not banned. And after this incident, coffee houses in Rome began to grow like mushrooms. By 1650, Europe had over 200 coffee houses. London alone, 80. People drank, argued, and birthed the Enlightenment, all because of one sip. The irony? The Pope probably had no idea how right he was. There's nothing satanic in coffee, just caffeine, antioxidants, and a little bit of marketing. But the legend worked. Coffee became Christian, and the Muslim trail brushed under the rug. So why don't we remember this story as a scandal? Because the church doesn't like to remember its mistakes. In the 17th century, when coffee conquered Europe, No one wanted to remind parishioners that their favorite drink had almost been declared sinful. It was easier to create a myth, the wise pope who saved coffee, and that's how the legend was born. No details, no dates, no names. Just, the pope tried it and approved. We still live with that legend today. But the hidden truth is, coffee saved itself, its energizing effect, its aroma, its ability to bring people together in conversation. The church simply couldn't have banned it. The people would have revolted. The Pope knew that. So he chose not a conflict, but a beautiful gesture. That's why today you drink your cappuccino without a trace of guilt. Not because you were baptized, but because someone once upon a time wasn't afraid to take a sip. And here is where it gets really interesting. Behind the Pope stood another man. His name was Abraham Castro, a Jewish doctor from Livorno, Italy. In 1578, he wrote the first medical treatise on coffee in Europe, in Latin. 14 healing properties for migraines, for hysterical fits in women, for bad vapors in the stomach. Not a single word about the devil. Castro was the personal physician to the papal nuncio. His treatise was sent to every Catholic diocese in Europe. His arguments tipped the scales against the fear of Saracen potion. The Pope was told, Dr. Castro guarantees it is safe. Plus, taxes, 6,000 ducats a year. And the Pope wrote his resolution, non obstante, do not obstruct. Castro's name disappeared from history. Why? Because the Church was too embarrassed to admit that its decision depended on the medical opinion of a Jew, and the Venetian merchants found it more profitable to promote the legend of the papal miracle. So, the doctor became a ghost. His name remains in only 2 volumes in the Vatican library. Access was only granted in 2015. 300 years of silence. The irony? Castro was a descendant of Marranos, Jews who had been forcibly baptized in Spain. His family fled to Italy. He spent his whole life proving that his knowledge could serve the Church. And the Church just took his arguments and erased his name. Right now, you're holding a cup of coffee, or standing in line for one. You're not thinking about the 16th century, but the traces of that battle are still in every single bean. In the fact that coffee is drunk on every continent. In the fact that the Church stays silent. In the fact that no one mutters a prayer over an espresso. This is a victory. Not the Pope's, not the merchants. Ours, yours and mine, because if people back in 1590 had been too afraid to disobey, we'd still be drinking, what, herbal tea? Boring. The irony? Today in America, Starbucks is on every corner, and any priest who tried to ban coffee would look ridiculous. The world has changed, but the history remains. And now you know, behind your morning latte, someone almost lost his position. And there was also a Jewish doctor, whom no one ever thanked. The dark side of progress. We benefit from someone else's genius, without ever knowing their names. If Clement VIII walked into a modern coffee shop, he would freak out. Soy latte, RAF, cinnamon cappuccino, cold brew with ice, sugar syrup. He would ask, Is this all made from those little black beans? And they'd answer, Yep, and we also put whipped cream on it. The Pope would cross himself, but not because of evil. From sheer amazement. There's your irony. The fight against the satanic drink turned coffee into a symbol of tolerance. They tried to ban it in the name of faith, but what saved it? Ordinary human taste, pickiness, the love of something delicious. The Pope just liked it. And that, right there, is the main lesson of this folder. We're closing the coffee folder, but the next one is already on the table. On it is written, How chocolate was almost declared the sin of love. Spoiler, In the 17th century, Catholic priests suspected that cacao was an aphrodisiac, and they demanded a ban. But one clever monk took a sip and said, "Drink up. It's good for you, not for the faint of heart." Here's a question I'll leave you with. If you knew that coffee was almost banned, would you drink it with more pleasure or with defiance? Write it in the comments. And next time you order a latte, remember the Pope, the one who rolled his eyes and said, "I'll take it from here." And remember Dr. Castro, the man devoured by history. Stay with the Archive of Hidden Facts with a smile. The segment Hidden Facts in History 10th–19th Century. Hit subscribe. We already have playlists on coffee, ketchup, the Vikings, and how one gardener changed basketball. I'm Svetlana. See you soon, and may your coffee never need an exorcism. The end? No, to be continued, because coffee is just the beginning. And the next folder is about chocolate, the one they almost called a sin. See you there.